Namo Amitābha Buddha. Dear brothers and sisters, dear friends listening tonight, have you ever noticed this? You lie down after a long day. The house is quiet. The lights are off. Yet your mind refuses to rest. Not because the room is noisy, but because someone's words, someone's silence, or one unfinished worry is still being held tightly inside your chest. Maybe it's a message you never received, a family concern you keep replaying, a financial pressure, a health fear, or a relationship you wish you could fix. Everything looks calm on the outside, but inside, you are still holding on. And so the night passes while sleep stays just out of reach. Let me ask you gently, as a Dharma friend walking beside you, have you ever wondered why the harder you try to hold things together, the harder it becomes to fall asleep? In Buddhist wisdom, there is a quiet truth. Sometimes, what steals our rest is not the problem itself, but the way we keep gripping what was never ours to control. Tonight, I want to share with you a simple, compassionate teaching, a way to loosen the heart, to protect your peace, and to let your mind finally rest. Let us begin slowly together. And so, as you lie there in the quiet, noticing how tightly your heart is still holding on, something gentle begins to reveal itself. Very often, the weight you feel tonight is not coming from life itself. It is coming from what your hands, your inner hands, refuse to release. Think for a moment about the way the body responds to holding. When you grip something for too long, the muscles ache, the fingers stiffen, the arm grows tired, even if the object is small. The mind is no different. Many nights, the world has already gone to sleep. Cars have stopped passing by. Emails have stopped arriving. Even the people you worry about are resting somewhere else. Yet inside you, something is still clenched. Maybe it is a conversation from earlier in the day. You replay it quietly, changing the words, imagining different endings. Maybe it is a loved one, far away, an aging parent, a child struggling a partner who seems distant. Maybe it is a number in a bank account, a medical test result, or a decision you are afraid to make. On the outside, nothing is happening. But inside, your mind is working overtime, as if it believes that worrying a little longer might finally fix everything. I once spoke with an elderly woman at a small temple in California. It was early evening. The incense had burned down to thin gray lines of ash, and the faint sound of a bell from the meditation hall drifted through the air. She sat very still, her hands folded softly in her lap. She smiled and said, almost whispering, "During the day, I feel strong. At night, everything I hold comes back. That is how the mind works when the body rests. During the day, effort distracts us. At night, truth rises. In Buddhist teaching, this is not considered a failure. It is considered a message. The Buddha did not teach that suffering appears because the world is cruel. He taught that suffering appears when the heart clings, when it holds tightly to what is changing by nature. This clinging can look very ordinary. It can look like love that is mixed with fear, responsibility that quietly turns into self-blame, care that slowly becomes control. You may say to yourself, "I'm only holding on because I care." And that may be true. But the Buddha gently reminds us, when care becomes grasping, it no longer protects the heart. It exhausts it. Picture a small bowl of water resting in your hands. If you hold it lightly, the water stays calm. If you squeeze too hard, the water spills and your hands grow tense. The water was never the problem. The pressure was. In the same way, many of our worries are not signs that something is wrong with us. They are signs that we are holding life too tightly. At temples across the United States, from quiet suburban meditation centers to small home altars in living rooms, you will often hear elders say a simple phrase, "Hold gently." They do not mean care less. They mean trust more. In Buddhist understanding, everything we cling to is already moving. People change. Bodies change. Circumstances rise and fall like waves. When we cling to what is moving, the pain comes not from the change, but from the resistance. This is why, when night arrives, the mind grows loud. The darkness does not create fear. It removes distraction. And in that stillness, we finally hear how much effort we have been using to hold the world together. The Buddha spoke often about attachment, not as a moral flaw, but as a misunderstanding. We cling because we believe holding will keep us safe. We believe if we think enough worry, enough control enough, we can prevent loss. But clinging does not prevent loss. It only prevents rest. There is a moment many people experience just before sleep, a subtle tightening in the chest, a small ache behind the eyes, a feeling as if something important has not been finished. That feeling is not asking you to solve anything. It is asking you to soften. When you begin to see this, something shifts. You realize that the night is not your enemy. It is your teacher. The quiet is showing you exactly where your heart is still gripping. And here is the compassionate truth the Buddha offers. You do not need to drop everything at once. You only need to notice what you are holding. Tonight, it is enough to ask gently, what am I carrying right now? that does not need my hands anymore. You are not being asked to stop loving. You are being invited to stop straining. The path of peace begins not by fixing life, but by loosening the fist around it. And when the grip begins to soften even a little, the breath deepens, the shoulders lower, and the mind starts to remember something it has always known. Rest does not come from control. It comes from release. And this is where the deeper teaching quietly opens. Release does not begin by pushing life away. It begins the moment you stop confusing letting go with losing. Many people feel afraid when they hear the word detach. They imagine coldness, distance, turning their back on someone they love. But that is not what the Buddha meant. And it is not what your heart is being asked to do tonight. Letting go is not abandonment. It is not giving up responsibility. It is not saying, "I don't care anymore." True letting go is much quieter than that. It is simply returning the mind to the place where it belongs. I remember sitting once in a small meditation hall in Northern California. It was late afternoon. Golden light filtered through the windows, touching the floor like warm water. Outside, the wind moved through the trees, and every now and then, a bell sounded soft, unhurried, almost shy. An elderly man sat a few rows ahead of me. His shoulders were relaxed, his back slightly curved, his hands resting open on his knees. Nothing about him looked dramatic or spiritual, but there was something unmistakable in the way he breathed. Each breath arrived and left without struggle. Later, someone asked him, "How do you stay so calm? Don't you worry about your family?" He smiled, the corners of his eyes folding gently, and said, "I worry, but I don't carry them into every breath." That sentence stayed with me for a long time. This is the heart of letting go. You do not throw love away. You stop dragging it everywhere you go. In Buddhist understanding, the mind is meant to rest in the present moment, right here, right now. But when we cling, the mind leaves home. It runs ahead into fear or backward into regret. The body may be lying in bed, but the mind is standing in tomorrow's problems or yesterday's conversations. And this is where exhaustion begins. Letting go is the act of gently guiding the mind back to the breath, back to the body, back to what is actually here. Nothing else needs your attention in this moment. Many people believe that if they stop holding on, something terrible will happen, that a loved one will drift away, that a situation will fall apart, that being less tense means being careless. But the Buddha taught something very different. He taught that clinging is not the same as caring. Clinging is care mixed with fear. Fear that without control, we are unsafe. Fear that without constant effort, things will break. Yet look closely at your own experience. When you worry all night about someone you love, does that heal them? When you replay a problem again and again in your mind, does it solve itself? Or does the heart simply grow more tired? There is a small but important shift that happens when you begin to let go correctly. The shoulders soften, the jaw loosens. The breath no longer feels like it has to work so hard. It is not because the problem disappeared. It is because the mind stopped sitting on top of it. This is why the Buddha spoke about non-attachment as wisdom, not indifference. Non-attachment means you stop placing your peace inside things that cannot hold it. Think of a child holding a fragile glass. If they squeeze too tightly, it breaks. If they relax just enough, the glass stays whole. Life works the same way. Many of us are squeezing too hard. We squeeze relationships, hoping they will never change. We squeeze outcomes, hoping they will guarantee security. We squeeze ourselves, believing that tension equals responsibility. And then we wonder why the heart feels bruised. In Buddhist temples across the United States, you will often see a simple image on the altar, the Buddha sitting with open hands, not clenched, not grasping, open. Those open hands are not empty of love. They are free of fear. Letting go in this sense means you stop demanding that life behave according to your worries. You still show up. You still care. You still act when action is needed. But you no longer carry everything inside your chest every hour of the day. There is a quiet discipline in this practice. It may look like placing your phone down at night and telling yourself, I have done enough for today. It may look like whispering a short prayer or the Buddha's name before sleep, not to fix anything, but to remind the mind where it belongs. It may look like noticing a familiar, anxious thought and choosing not to follow it. This is not weakness. This is strength that does not shout. In Buddhist teaching, the mind is compared to a guest house. Thoughts, emotions, worries, they come and go. When you cling, you let every guest rearrange the furniture. Letting go means you greet the guest, but you do not hand them the keys. And something very important happens when you begin to practice this. The mind starts to trust you again. It learns that it does not have to stay alert all night. It learns that you will not abandon what truly matters, but you also will not sacrifice your peace to constant tension. Over time, this trust becomes rest. You may notice that when you lie down, the chest no longer feels as tight. The breath flows a little deeper. The thoughts still appear, but they feel farther away, like sounds from another room. This is not magic. This is the mind returning to its rightful place. And here is the deeper truth the Buddha offered with great compassion. When the mind comes home, suffering has less ground to stand on. You are not being asked to stop loving your family, or caring about your future, or responding to life. You are being invited to stop confusing tension with devotion. Letting go is not leaving life behind. It is standing inside it with steadier hands. And as the mind learns this gentle balance, holding without gripping, caring without clutching, a new kind of quiet begins to grow. A quiet that does not depend on perfect conditions. A quiet that makes space for rest. And in that space, the next teaching begins to unfold. And in that quiet that begins to grow, a deeper understanding slowly comes into view. What you are feeling right now is not accidental. It is not random. It is not a punishment. In Buddhist wisdom, every moment of tension, every moment of ease has a cause. Not a cause imposed from outside, but a cause that arises gently from within. This is where the Buddha spoke of karma and merit, not as superstition, but as a living process unfolding in each breath. Many people hear the word karma and imagine fate, destiny, or something fixed long ago. But the Buddha taught something far more compassionate. Karma is not what happens to you. Karma is how the mind responds to what happens. Picture a quiet pond at dusk. The surface is smooth, reflecting the soft pink of the sky. If no stone is thrown, the water remains clear. But each time a stone drops, in each reaction, each outburst, each anxious spiral, the surface breaks into ripples. Life brings the stones. We choose whether to keep throwing them. When you cling, when you react without pause, when worry takes the reins, something subtle but powerful occurs. The heart tightens. The breath shortens. The body prepares for danger that may never come. In Buddhist teaching, this is the moment new karma is formed. Not because you are bad, but because the mind has moved out of balance. A sharp word spoken in fear becomes karma. A restless night filled with resentment becomes karma. A decision made from panic becomes karma. And slowly, without noticing, these small moments add weight to the heart. I once met a man named Michael at a community meditation group in the Midwest. He was in his late 50s, his hair already silver at the temples. He came every week, sitting quietly in the back. One evening, after the others had left, he stayed behind. The hall was nearly dark, lit only by a single lamp near the altar. The faint scent of incense lingered in the air. He said, "I don't understand. I meditate, I pray, but my life still feels heavy." We sat in silence for a while. Then I asked him gently, "When something goes wrong, what happens inside you first?" He looked down at his hands. "They clench," he said, "and my mind runs." That was the answer. The Buddha taught that karma is created not only by what we do, but by how the mind moves. Clenching, running, resisting. But here is the part that brings great relief. Karma does not only accumulate, it can also be interrupted. This is where letting go becomes an act of wisdom, not surrender, but clarity. When you pause, instead of reacting, karma stops growing. When you soften instead of clenching, the old patterns lose strength. When you bring the mind back to the present, the ripple fades. This is not something mystical. It is something you can feel. Have you ever noticed that when you stop arguing in your head, even briefly, the body exhales on its own? The shoulders drop, the jaw loosens, the breath finds a deeper rhythm. That is karma settling. And this is where merit, what Buddhists call wholesome energy, begins to appear. Merit is not something earned through grand gestures. It grows quietly, moment by moment. Each time you choose not to speak harshly, merit grows. Each time you choose to rest instead of worry, merit grows. Each time you remember the Buddha's name and let the breath slow, merit grows. In many Buddhist homes across America, especially among elders, you will hear a simple phrase spoken at night: Jiu Fuck, protect your merit. They are not speaking about luck. They are speaking about not leaking peace. Stress leaks peace. Anger leaks peace. Endless worry leaks peace. Letting go seals the cracks. This is why, when people say they feel lighter after releasing something, it is not imagination. They have stopped pouring energy into suffering. The Buddha said, "The mind leads all things." When the mind is agitated, life follows. When the mind is calm, life softens. Think about a moment in your own life. Perhaps you received difficult news, a medical test, a financial setback, a family disagreement. Notice how much of the pain came not from the event itself, but from the thoughts that followed, the future imagined again and again, the fear replayed without rest. Now imagine something different. Imagine receiving the same news, but choosing just once to pause, to breathe, to remember that panic will not protect you. In that pause, no new karma is created. In that pause, merit quietly accumulates. This is why letting go is often called self-liberation in Buddhist teaching. You are not waiting for the world to change. You are changing how deeply the world can wound you. Some people call this solving problems spiritually, but the Buddha's teaching is even more grounded than that. When the mind is steady, you make better decisions. When the heart is calm, you speak more wisely. When fear loosens its grip, compassion naturally appears. This is karma transforming into clarity. There is a gentle image often shared in temples, a lotus growing from muddy water. The mud is not removed. The water is not purified by force. The lotus simply rises. In the same way, your difficulties do not need to disappear for peace to grow. They only need less resistance. Letting go does not erase karma. It stops feeding it. And this is why the Buddha taught practices like mindfulness and recitation, not as rituals, but as tools. When you quietly repeat the Buddha's name, you are anchoring the mind. When the mind is anchored, it cannot spiral. When it does not spiral, karma rests. This is what people mean when they say Buông Dung La Tu Jai Han, not because someone removes your obstacles, but because you stop creating new ones inside yourself. Over time, something beautiful happens. The same situations arise, but your response is different. The same challenges appear, but they feel lighter. The same worries knock, but you do not open the door as quickly. And slowly, without forcing anything, life becomes more manageable. This is not because you controlled the future. It is because you protected the present. The Buddha never promised a life without difficulty. He promised a path where difficulty does not own you. And that path begins here with understanding how karma forms, how merit grows, and how letting go gently turns suffering into wisdom. As the mind rests in this understanding, as the breath continues its quiet rhythm, the heart begins to feel something new. Not excitement, not escape, but a steady sense that for this moment at least, you are safe enough to rest. And from that rest, the next step on the path naturally appears. And as that understanding settles gently in the mind, the body becomes ready for something very simple. Not a lesson to remember. Not an idea to analyze. Just a small practice for this night. Nothing elaborate, nothing heavy. Only a way to place the heart down where it can finally rest. Wherever you are listening from your bedroom, a quiet living room, maybe a small apartment with the lights dimmed, allow the body to settle exactly as it is. You do not need perfect posture. You do not need to change anything. Let the mattress carry your weight. Let the pillow support your head. If your hands are still tense, notice how the fingers curl slightly, as if holding something invisible. You may hear distant sounds, a car passing, a clock ticking, perhaps even the faint echo of a bell from memory, like the soft chime heard at a temple just before evening chanting begins. None of these sounds need your attention. They can come and go. Now bring your awareness to the breath. Not forcing it, not improving it, just noticing. Feel the coolness as the air enters the nose, the gentle warmth as it leaves. The chest rises and falls. With each exhale, imagine the body becoming a little heavier, as if sinking safely into the earth. In Buddhist practice, the breath is not used to escape life. It is used to come home. When the mind stays with the breath, it cannot wander far. And when it cannot wander, it cannot build worry. This is how letting go begins, not by pushing thoughts away, but by giving the mind something kind and steady to rest upon. Now, As you continue breathing, gently bring to mind the Buddha's name. If you are familiar with it, you may softly repeat in your heart, Namo Amitābha Buddha. No need to say it aloud. No need to say it perfectly. Let the sound form quietly inside like a warm light. With each inhale, feel the name rise gently. With each exhale, feel the weight of the day release just a little. In many Buddhist homes across America, elders practice like this at night, not because they expect miracles, but because they understand something simple. When the mind rests on something wholesome, it stops chasing fear. If thoughts appear, and they will do not argue with them, do not follow them. Picture them like clouds moving slowly across the sky. They drift in, they drift out. Each time you notice the mind has wandered, return softly to the breath and to the Buddha's name. There is no failure here. Returning is the practice. If a worry feels especially heavy tonight, you may try this. On the next exhale, imagine placing that worry into your open palms. You do not need to name it. You do not need to explain it. Just notice its weight. Then, as you inhale gently, imagine placing it down as if setting a bundle at the foot of a statue, as if leaving it beside a quiet lotus pond. You are not abandoning it. You are simply saying, "Not right now." In Buddhist teaching, this moment, this choosing not to engage, is called wisdom in action. Because when you pause, instead of reacting, know, new suffering is created. The heart begins to feel less crowded. The breath flows more freely. You may notice the muscles around the eyes soften. The forehead smooths. The jaw unclenches. This is the body responding to safety. Continue breathing like this for a few moments. Slow, natural. With each repetition of the Buddha's name, feel as though you are gently stitching the mind back together, thread by thread. If emotions surface, let them be. If memories appear, let them pass. You are not here to solve anything tonight. You are here to rest. In Buddhist understanding, this kind of resting is not laziness. It is skillful. Because a mind that rests wisely does not burn merit. It does not speak harshly. It does not make decisions from fear. It gathers quiet strength. Some people imagine spiritual practice as effort, but this practice is closer to trust. Trusting that the world can hold itself for a few hours. Trusting that you do not need to stand guard all night. Trusting that compassion includes yourself. If it feels comforting, you may place one hand gently over the heart. Feel the warmth there. The steady rhythm. This heartbeat has carried you through every difficult day so far. It does not need your worry to keep going. Let the breath continue. Let the name continue. If sleep comes, allow it. If sleep does not come yet, that is also fine. The practice is still working. In many temples, it is said that the Buddha's name is like a lamp in the dark. You do not use it to chase shadows away. You simply light it, and the shadows naturally fade. Tonight, this small lamp is enough. You may notice a subtle change, a quiet sense of being held rather than holding, a feeling that nothing is urgently required of you. That feeling is not imagination. It is the nervous system relaxing. It is the mind settling into the present. Remain here for a few more breaths. No rush, no goal. And when you are ready, allow yourself to stay in this softness. The night has space for you now. And as you rest here, something gentle begins to unfold on its own. And as you remain in that softness, something very ordinary, yet very precious, begins to change. Not all at once, not like a sudden miracle, but quietly in ways you might only notice later. The breath moves a little deeper on its own. The space behind the eyes feels less tight. The body, which has been standing guard for so long, begins to lower its watch. This is what happens when the mind truly settles. The world outside has not rearranged itself. Bills are still there. Responsibilities are still waiting. People are still who they are. And yet, something feels lighter. In Buddhist teaching, this is called the fruit of a calm mind. Not because life becomes easy, but because the weight we add to it begins to fall away. I once knew a woman named Linda who came to a small Sunday chanting group in Southern California. She rarely spoke. She sat near the window where the afternoon light would rest briefly on her shoulder before fading. One evening, after months of silence, she stayed behind as others put away cushions and folded blankets. The room smelled faintly of tea and incense ash. She said, "Nothing in my life has changed, but I don't feel crushed by it anymore." Her face did not look excited. It looked rested. That is how real change often appears, not dramatic, just steady. When the mind stops clinging, it no longer shakes every time life moves. It learns how to bend without breaking. You may notice this the next morning. Perhaps you wake up, and the first thought does not immediately rush toward worry. There is a small pause, a breath before the mind starts listing problems. Perhaps you move through your routine coffee breakfast getting ready, and your body feels a little less hurried. The hands move more slowly. The shoulders are not pulled so high. This is not laziness. This is clarity. In Buddhist understanding, a calm mind sees more accurately. When the water is still, the reflection becomes clear. When you are not constantly reacting, you begin to notice what truly matters and what does not. You may find yourself choosing words more carefully in a conversation, not because you are holding back, but because you no longer feel the need to defend yourself at every moment. You may listen more deeply to a family member, a coworker, a friend, without immediately preparing your response. And in that listening, something softens between people. This is one of the quiet benefits of letting go. Relationships begin to breathe. The Buddha taught that suffering often multiplies through reaction. One tense word invites another. One fearful thought invites 10 more. But when the mind is calm, the chain breaks. A situation that once would have triggered hours of worry now passes with less disturbance. You still care. You still act when needed. But you are no longer consumed. This shift has real effects, not just spiritually, but physically. Doctors often speak about stress as if it were separate from daily life. But in Buddhist teaching, stress is simply the body responding to an overworked mind. When the mind relaxes, the body follows. Sleep becomes deeper, even if shorter. The stomach feels less tight. The heart does not race as often. These are not signs of giving up. They are signs of healing. In many Buddhist families across America, elders say something very simple when they see a loved one worrying too much: kon mi chutti, rest a little. They know something important. A rested mind makes wiser choices. A rested heart carries fewer regrets. This is how letting go creates very real, very practical benefits. You may find that when a challenge appears, a financial concern, a health issue, a family disagreement, you respond differently. Instead of immediately imagining the worst, you pause, you breathe. You remember that panic has never solved anything. This pause does not remove responsibility. It removes confusion. And from that clearer place, your actions become more skillful. In Buddhist teaching, this is called right effort. Not forcing, not avoiding, but acting from balance. It is like walking on a narrow path. Too much tension and you lose your footing. Too little attention and you drift. Calmness keeps you centered. You may also notice a subtle change in how you relate to yourself. The inner voice that once criticized every mistake grows quieter. You speak to yourself with more patience. This too is a fruit of letting go, because when you stop fighting life, you stop fighting yourself. There is a gentle dignity that comes with this kind of calm. You do not need to explain yourself as much. You do not need to prove your worth through exhaustion. Your presence alone carries steadiness. This is why the Buddha place such importance on inner peace not as an escape, but as a foundation. From peace, wisdom grows. From wisdom, compassion flows naturally. And compassion, in turn, creates merit. Each time you respond with patience instead of anger, merit deepens. Each time you choose rest over unnecessary worry, merit grows. This merit is not abstract. It appears as resilience, as emotional stability, as the ability to face difficulty without losing yourself. Many people search their entire lives for a sense of security. They look for it in money, in relationships, in control. But Buddhist teaching gently points inward. True security comes from knowing that whatever arises, you can meet it without collapsing. That knowing does not come from effort alone. It comes from repeated moments of letting go. Small moments, daily moments, like choosing to put the phone down at night, like choosing not to replay a painful conversation, like choosing to breathe instead of react. Over time, these moments shape a different way of living. Life does not become perfect, but it becomes workable. And this is perhaps the greatest gift of all. As you rest here now, notice if there is a sense, however faint, of trust beginning to form. Trust that you do not need to hold everything together alone. Trust that peace can exist even when questions remain unanswered. That trust is not blind faith. It is wisdom born from experience. The Buddha never asked anyone to believe without seeing. He invited people to observe the results for themselves. And when the mind is calm, the results speak quietly but clearly. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still capable of care without the weight of constant struggle. This is the natural outcome of letting go. And as this understanding settles into the body, as the night continues to hold you gently, another layer of insight begins to open, one that touches the heart of love, responsibility, and compassion in a deeper way. And as that quieter strength settles in the body, another truth begins to surface, one that touches the deepest layer of the heart. For many people listening tonight, especially those who have carried family across oceans, across generations, across sacrifice, letting go brings a quiet guilt. A voice rises softly inside and says, if I relax, am I being irresponsible? If I stop worrying, am I being ungrateful? If I take care of myself, am I turning away from my family? This question does not come from selfishness. It comes from love. In many Buddhist families living in America, love often takes the shape of endurance. Working long hours, sending money home, staying strong so others do not have to worry, smiling on the phone while hiding exhaustion. You may recognize this kind of love. It is the love that forgets itself. There is a moment many people experience late at night after everyone else has gone to sleep. The house is finally quiet. The television is off. The dishes are done. And suddenly, the heart feels heavy not because of anger, but because of responsibility. Thoughts arise like quiet confessions. I should have done more. I should be stronger. I shouldn't feel tired. This is where many good hearts suffer. In Buddhist teaching, this suffering has a name. It is not called devotion. It is not called filial piety. It is called forgetting oneself. The Buddha spoke often about compassion, but he never separated it from wisdom. Compassion without wisdom becomes self-harm. True care does not require self-erasure. I once met a woman named Grace at a temple in the Pacific Northwest. She was caring for her elderly mother while raising grandchildren. Her days were full. Her nights were short. When she spoke, her voice was steady, but her eyes looked tired, deeply tired. One afternoon, as the sound of chanting drifted through the hall, she said quietly, "I feel guilty every time I rest." Her hands trembled slightly as she held her teacup. An elder sitting beside her reached out and gently touched her wrist. He said, "If your lamp goes out, how will you light the way for others?" Grace did not answer. Her eyes filled with tears. That moment stayed with her, and it stays with many of us. In Buddhist wisdom, true filial piety does not mean exhausting yourself until nothing remains. It means cultivating a stable, kind, clear mind so your presence becomes a refuge, not a burden. When you are calm, your words soften. When you are rested, your patience grows. When your heart is steady, your family feels safer around you. This is not theory. This is lived truth. Look closely at your own experience. When you are overwhelmed, small things irritate you more easily. A simple question feels like pressure. A loved one's mistake feels heavier than it should. But when the mind is at ease, even briefly, something changes. You listen longer. You speak with less edge. You forgive more quickly. This is how letting go becomes an act of love, not withdrawal, but refinement. The Buddha taught that the body and mind are the foundation of all good deeds. If the foundation is cracked, even good intentions cause harm. This is why he encouraged balance. Not too tight, not too loose. Like tuning a string on an instrument. Too tight and it snaps. Too loose and it cannot carry a clear sound. In many Asian Buddhist households in America, elders remind the younger generation, Jiu Than Gyu Tum, protect the body, protect the mind. This protection is not selfishness. It is responsibility. When you allow yourself to rest, you are not abandoning your family. You are ensuring that when they need you, you can truly be there. Letting go in this sense means releasing the belief that love must always hurt. It means releasing the habit of measuring devotion by exhaustion. It means understanding that peace is not a luxury, it is a duty. There is a quiet shift that happens when this truth sinks in. The heart stops arguing with itself. The breath moves more freely. The guilt loosens its grip. You may notice that when you think of your parents, your children, or those you care for, the image softens. Instead of tension in the chest, there is warmth. Instead of pressure, there is intention. You may still act, you may still support, but you are no longer carrying everyone on your back. This is the middle way the Buddha taught. Caring deeply without collapsing. In Buddhist understanding, merit grows not only from what you give others, but from how you care for your own mind. A calm mind creates gentle speech. Gentle speech creates harmony. Harmony becomes a gift to everyone around you. This is why letting go is not a betrayal of love. It is love maturing. There is a beautiful image often shared in Buddhist teachings, a lotus rising above water. The lotus does not leave the water behind. It simply does not drown in it. In the same way, you do not leave your family, your duties, or your values. You simply refuse to drown in them. Tonight, as you rest, consider this gentle reflection. If someone you love came to you exhausted, carrying guilt for needing rest, what would you tell them? You would likely say, "You've done enough. Please rest. Your well-being matters." The Buddha invites you to offer that same kindness inward. Letting go does not make you less devoted. It makes your devotion sustainable. And when devotion is sustainable, it becomes a blessing instead of a weight. As this understanding settles, it is as if there is a quiet permission arising inside you. Permission to breathe without apology. Permission to rest without explaining. Permission to care without self-punishment. That permission is not indulgence. It is wisdom. And from this place, where compassion includes yourself, the path ahead becomes clearer, gentler, and far more livable. As the night continues to hold you, another quiet movement begins to form. And as that permission settles gently in your chest, something natural begins to arise. The wish to share this calm not only with yourself, but with those you love. This is where the heart turns outward without strain, not in obligation, not in guilt, but in quiet generosity. In Buddhist tradition, this moment is called dedication of merit. not as a ritual reserved for temples, but as a simple movement of the heart. Merit is not something you hoard. It is something that grows when it flows. Notice how your breath feels right now. Softer, less guarded, as if the body has finally been told you can rest. From this place, the wish to give does not exhaust you. It steadies you. Imagine for a moment a soft light forming in the center of your chest. Not bright, not dazzling, just warm, like the glow of a lamp in a quiet room late at night. This light is made of all the small, wholesome moments from this evening. Each breath you softened, each thought you did not chase, each time you chose kindness instead of pressure. In Buddhist understanding, these moments are never wasted. They gather quietly like drops of water filling a bowl. Now, without effort, allow this light to widen slightly. Perhaps the first people who come to mind are your parents, living or passed on, near or far. You may see your mother's face lines shaped by years of care, or your father's hands worn from work. You do not need to say much. Just let the light move toward them and rest there. May they be safe. May their bodies be at ease. May their hearts know peace. If your relationship with them has been complicated, let the light carry forgiveness instead of words. In Buddhist teaching, dedication of merit does not require perfect harmony. It requires sincerity. Next, you may think of your children or the younger ones you care about, perhaps asleep in another room, perhaps grown living their own lives. See their faces softened by rest. See the tension ease from their shoulders. Let the light reach them gently. May you be protected. May you grow with wisdom. May you meet life with less fear. Then, if it feels right, let this calm extend to your partner, your siblings, your relatives, those you speak to often, and those you rarely see. You are not fixing their problems. You are not taking on their burdens. You are simply offering steadiness. This is how Buddhist compassion works. It does not interfere. It supports. In many Buddhist households across America, elders dedicate merit at night, not because they believe it will control outcomes, but because it softens the heart that carries concern. A softened heart sleeps better. A rested heart loves better. You may also include those who are struggling. A friend facing illness, a neighbor going through loss, someone whose name you have not spoken in years. Let the light touch them briefly, without expectation. May you find relief. May you find strength. May you not feel alone. In Buddhist teaching, this act of dedication transforms personal calm into shared benefit. What begins as self-care becomes service. And now this part is important. Allow the light to return to you, not as a taking back, but as an acknowledgement. You too are worthy of the peace you wish for others. See the light settling again in your chest, steady and warm. May I be at ease. May I be free from unnecessary suffering. May I rest without guilt. This is not selfishness. It is balance. The Buddha taught that true generosity includes oneself. A heart that is constantly depleted has little left to give. When you dedicate merit in this way, something subtle shifts. The sense of separation eases. You feel connected without being entangled. Your concerns for others no longer feel like weights on your back. They feel like gentle threads of care, strong but flexible. You may notice the body respond. The breath slows. The face softens. The space around the heart feels less crowded. This is not imagination. It is the nervous system recognizing safety. In Buddhist understanding, peace shared multiplies. Peace hoarded diminishes. Tonight, you have chosen to share without draining yourself. That choice itself is merit. Remain here for a few breaths. Let the dedication complete itself naturally. There is nothing more you need to add. The Buddha taught that when the mind rests in goodwill, even briefly, the world is touched. Not loudly, not visibly, but deeply. As you continue to rest, trust that this calm has found its way where it is needed, within you and beyond you. The night holds this offering gently, and as you remain in this quiet, another sense begins to appear, a feeling of being less alone with life, as if something steady is walking with you into rest. Stay here. There is nothing else required of you now. And as you remain in this quiet, with nothing left to carry and nothing left to prove, the night seems to soften around you. The room feels a little wider. The air moves more gently. Even the silence has a warmth to it now. This is not because life suddenly became easy. It is because for this moment, you stopped wrestling with it. Tonight, you were not asked to solve your future. You were not asked to fix anyone. You were not asked to become stronger, wiser, or better than you already are. You were only invited to loosen your grip just a little. And perhaps you can feel the difference. When the hands unclench, the arms grow lighter. When the jaw releases, the breath deepens. When the heart stops bracing, the body finally believes it is safe. This is the quiet miracle of letting go. The Buddha did not teach freedom as something far away. He taught it as something that appears the moment we stop insisting that everything must be held together by force. All through this night, you may have noticed something simple and true. The more gently you treated your own mind, the more naturally calm began to appear. That calm did not need to be chased. It did not need to be earned. It arrived when the struggle paused. This is the heart of the teaching. Suffering grows when we grip what is already changing. Peace appears when we allow change to move without dragging our hearts behind it. You do not need to let go of everything in your life. You do not need to become someone different tomorrow. For tonight, it is enough to let go of one thing, one thought you have been replaying, one worry you have been carrying to bed night after night, one quiet belief that says, if I don't hold this, everything will fall apart. You can set it down now, just for the length of this night. The world has carried itself before. It can carry itself again. As you rest here, notice how the body responds when you give yourself permission to stop. The breath slows without effort. The chest rises and falls like a calm tide. The mind no longer needs to scan the darkness for danger. This is not giving up. This is trusting the wisdom of rest. In Buddhist teaching, rest is not separate from the path. It is part of it. A tired mind clings more tightly. A rested mind releases naturally. This is why the Buddha placed such care on gentleness toward others and toward oneself. You may still wake tomorrow to the same responsibilities, the same relationships, the same unanswered questions, but you will meet them differently, with less tension in your voice, with more space between thought and reaction, with a steadier heart. That difference matters more than you realize, because every moment you choose calm over panic, every moment you choose softness over strain, you protect your peace. And peace, in Buddhist wisdom, is not just a feeling. It is a form of wealth. It shapes how you speak. It shapes how you decide. It shapes how you love. When peace is present, even difficulties lose their sharp edges. They may still be there, but they no longer cut as deeply. Tonight, you practiced something very real. You practiced not adding extra suffering to what already exists. That is wisdom. You practiced caring without collapsing, loving without clutching, resting without guilt. That is compassion. And you practice trusting that life does not require constant guarding to continue. That is faith, not blind faith, but lived faith. If sleep comes now, allow it to take you gently. If sleep comes later, that is fine too. The practice has already done its work. You have given your nervous system a message it rarely receives. It's okay to rest. As you drift, or as you remain quietly awake, carry one simple thought with you, like a warm stone resting in your palm. Tonight, I do not need to hold everything. Let that thought breathe on its own. Let it sink into the body. There is nothing more you need to remember. Before we part, allow me to offer a gentle wish. May your rest tonight be deep enough to renew you. May your heart feel lighter when morning comes. May the things you cannot control loosen their grip on your peace. And if these words have walked beside you in a helpful way, you are warmly invited, only if it feels right, to return again. You may leave a quiet message below. Perhaps just a simple phrase, "I choose inner peace." It can be a reminder to yourself, a small seed planted. And if you wish, you may continue this journey with us night by night, learning how to live with a softer heart and a steadier mind. For now, nothing else is asked of you. The night is kind. Your breath is enough. And this moment, just as it is already complete. Namo Amitābha Buddha.